Welcome to the SmartKeys podcast. We are diving deep today into the critical roadmap that defines the next era of organizational efficiency, the strategic blueprint for the future of business analytics beyond 2026. So if you are looking to accelerate your modernization efforts, this deep dive is your shortcut. Our mission for you is, well, it's crystal clear. We are cutting through all the hype and the technical noise to really extract the absolute priorities. What are the specific capabilities you must build? And crucially, what are those high-impact quick wins that help you win support and, unlock the funds for this transformation?
And you're right to frame it around urgency and funding. I mean, the investment numbers are staggering and the value is already proven.
Right.
We're watching global spending on analytics just accelerate. It's set to top $132.9 billion by 2026. And if you look just at big data, that could exceed $103 billion by 2027.
And this isn't just companies throwing money at a buzzword.
Not at all. This isn't speculative. The sources confirm that in 2023, over 90% of organizations saw measurable, tangible value.
That's a massive return rate.
It is, and the most compelling stat for me is the operational payoff. Organizations making data-driven choices are seeing a direct link to a 63% productivity lift.
63%.
It's a foundational shift in how work gets done.
That perfectly illustrates the core shift we need to make. For years, business intelligence meant waiting on rear-view reports. What happened last week, last quarter.
Looking backwards.
Exactly. We were driving forward while looking in the past. The mandate now is to transition completely to what the sources are calling practical intelligence, turning raw data into usable, immediate insights.
And that pivot from descriptive to truly prescriptive, that is the defining trend beyond 2026. It moves us past simple reporting, past even forecasting, and into automated guidance.
Okay, let's unpack that transition because predictive analytics has been around for a while. If predictive spots what is likely to happen next, like demand will increase 10%, how is prescriptive fundamentally different?
Prescriptive is the complete action plan. It doesn't just say demand will increase 10%.
It gives you the so what.
It gives you the so what and then now what. It says demand will increase 10%. Therefore, you should immediately adjust pricing in regions A and B and divert 3 cargo shipments. It tells you what to do.
So what are some of the best examples of those prescriptive use cases? The ones delivering the biggest quick wins today?
They fall into areas where decision velocity is just critical. We're seeing models that automatically deliver personalized risk scoring for loan applications, optimized demand forecasting in real time.
And churn intervention. I saw that in there.
Oh, absolutely. Triggering churn intervention playbooks instantly when a customer shows flight risk. The goal is dynamic resource allocation managing inventory or staff without human intervention until an exception is flagged.
That sounds incredibly powerful. But to enable those automated actions, you need more than just accurate numbers. You need what the source calls decision intelligence and data storytelling. How do those two fit together?
Well, if the model is the engine, decision intelligence is the steering wheel. It's the framework that ensures the decision isn't just mathematically sound, but, practically viable.
So it prevents the model from suggesting something technically perfect, but operationally impossible.
Exactly. And data storytelling is the presentation layer that makes that intelligence consumable. We're moving away from these dense, static charts.
Right.
Storytelling replaces them with simple narratives that explain the why, not just the what. This lets a sales manager or a marketing lead instantly grasp the implications and act.
And this is where it gets really interesting for anyone building a strategic roadmap. AI is fundamentally changing its role. It's moving from being a tool, a helper, to being a true operator.
We need to break this down into the 3 core AI capabilities that are becoming mandatory. The first one is Agentic AI.
What's the difference between a traditional model and an agentic system?
The key is autonomy and goal orientation. A traditional model is given a single task, predict X. An agentic system is given a goal, improve Y. It then autonomously plans the subtasks, executes them, and, this is the critical part, it self-corrects if the first attempt fails.
So it's not just monitoring a KPI, it's figuring out how to fix the KPI and then starting the fix automatically. That's a huge shift.
It is. And it's why projections show roughly a third of enterprise software apps may include these agents by 2028. They automate routine knowledge worker tasks.
And the second capability you mentioned, adaptive models. I know markets are always changing. How do these help?
Well, in a fast-changing market, static models drift. Their accuracy degrades until an engineer manually retunes them, which is slow and expensive. Adaptive models, they learn in real time as new signals shift. They continuously recalibrate.
So they manage their own maintenance cycle.
Essentially, yes. And the third piece, the one that's captured everyone's imagination, generative intelligence. How does that fit in, beyond just a chatbot? Generative AI actually upscales analysis in a big way. Beyond powering those natural language assistants, it excels at automatically surfacing hidden insights. It identifies the primary drivers, the segments, the anomalies in huge data sets. It accelerates discovery dramatically.
The strategic takeaway here seems clear. This frees up human teams to focus entirely on high-value strategy. But wait, if the AI is self-correcting and executing actions, how do we prevent misuse or, unintended consequences? Doesn't that introduce a massive governance risk?
It absolutely does, and that's why the sources emphasize embedding a feedback loop into the architecture. You must invest in short learning loops that test hypotheses and tune models. Our job shifts from managing the pipeline to rigorous quality assurance.
To support that level of speed, we need a fundamental infrastructure overhaul. We can't rely on weekly data warehouse refreshes anymore. We need real-time analytics at the edge.
Correct. We need speed measured in milliseconds. The source points to streaming event platforms, like Apache Kafka, as mandatory infrastructure. These systems capture and act on live signals, click streams, sensor readings, the moment they happen.
Give us a tangible example of what that speed enables.
Think about retailers dynamically changing prices during a sudden demand spike. Or, on the critical side, hospitals instantly reallocating staff during a patient surge. If you have a delay, the opportunity is lost or the risk just accelerates.
And this speed is complemented by edge computing.
Right, which means pushing compute power closer to the data source, the sensors, the machines. This is vital for low-latency operations, ensuring critical systems get immediate responses, even if the central network is flaky.
So speed is one challenge. The other is spread. Data is scattered everywhere. That leads us to architectures like data fabric and data mesh.
That's a challenge of volume and location. And the reality is data is distributed. Centralized data teams become huge bottlenecks.
So how do these new architectures help? They sound similar.
A data fabric is more of a technical layer, a unified virtual view that connects all those sources without moving the data. A data mesh, on the other hand, is an organizational shift. It requires domain teams like sales or inventory to own their data and publish it as trusted data products.
But doesn't a data mesh require a complete overhaul of team structure? You're asking a domain team to suddenly become data producers.
You are, which is the key difficulty. It shifts responsibility from a central IT bottleneck to the domain experts. It speeds up time to insight, but yes, it requires a massive cultural and governance shift to pull off.
And while all this is happening in the cloud, we can't ignore the massive cost factor.
Absolutely. The sources emphasize rigorous financial management. You need disciplined cost controls, mainly through right-sizing and auto-scaling. But critically, this has to be paired with value tracking. You have to tie every dollar of cloud spend to a measurable business outcome.
Speaking of justification, let's move to trust and risk management. Strong governance is what turns clever tools into trusted tools.
That trust requires several overlapping governance layers. First, you have the foundation. Basic compliance, meeting privacy baselines like GDPR and CCPA, which means privacy by design from the start.
And the next layer up, for AI itself.
That's explainable AI, or XAI. This is critical, especially in regulated environments. Stakeholders have to understand why a model made a certain prediction, why a loan was denied, for example.
Right, for auditability.
For auditability, for user trust, and for lowering operational risk. And tying all of this together is the comprehensive approach known as AI DRISM.
That's one of those acronyms that sounds important but needs decoding. What does it manage?
TRISM stands for Trust, Risk, and Security Management. It's the framework that standardizes model management for fairness, robustness, explainability, and resilience. Gartner projects that organizations applying AI TRISM are expected to be 50% more successful in their AI adoption goals.
Moving to security, this distributed environment requires a different framework. We're talking about zero trust and cybersecurity mesh.
Zero trust is mandatory now. It means continuously verifying every single user, device, and workload, regardless of location. Trust is earned, never assumed.
And the cybersecurity mesh supports that by putting controls where the assets actually are.
Exactly. It's a modular approach. You place controls near assets, whether they're in the cloud or on a manufacturing floor. Studies show this can shrink the cost of a security incident by roughly 90%.
So we've covered the tech, the architecture, the governance. Now let's connect this to clear ROI, which is what you need to secure funding. Where are these investments paying off right now?
Well, in finance and banking, operationalizing these real-time models is reporting a revenue lift of over 20% over 3 years, mostly from personalized services and near-instant fraud detection.
What about internal productivity?
For insurance, leveraging explainable AI can raise agent productivity by as much as 130%.
130%.
Yes. The speed of processing claims and assessing risk becomes orders of magnitude faster because the human agent spends lost time just verifying the machine's output.
And for the physical world, like manufacturing.
Early industrial metaverse pilots using digital twins and predictive maintenance have already improved efficiency and quality by roughly 12%. That cuts downtime, reduces waste, and directly impacts profit.
This brings us to the adaptation roadmap for you, for the listener and their teams. We start with democratization.
You have to eliminate the specialist bottleneck. Adopt self-service, low-code, or no-code tools that allow business users to safely interact with data. If every simple request requires a data scientist, you will never scale.
Paired with that is data literacy. The tools are useless if people don't know how to use the insights.
Right. Investment in capability building is essential, but the training needs to change. Adopt short, role-based learning paths that fit into regular work, not long generic courses.
Finally, that strategic roadmap. If you're starting this transformation today, where do you focus first to prove value quickly?
Define a roadmap that targets measurable, high-impact, quick wins first. Pilot a low-code tool in a department with high analytical demand. Prove the value, secure those wins, and then scale. Build momentum.
To summarize this entire deep dive, analytics is moving rapidly from static reports to adaptive real-time systems that actively guide and often execute decisions. Analysis is automated through agentic and generative AI, and insight is delivered by the shift-to-edge and streaming architectures.
For immediate action, the practical takeaway is this. Focus your budget where demand, cost, and power intersect. That means predictive analytics, edge processing, and adaptive models. Your key challenge will be balancing speed, cost, and governance. You achieve that by using cloud right-sizing and implementing self-service analytics paired with strict zero-trust controls. That balance is what turns expensive tools into repeatable business value.
Given the accelerating pace of AI adoption and the rise of these autonomous real-time systems, what legacy process in your organization must you move from slow to instant first? That is your starting point. That was a tremendous deep dive into the future of business analytics beyond 2026. Thank you for tuning in to the SmartKeys podcast. If you want to review the exact figures on AI Cherigizema success rates or dig into the details of data mesh architectures, be sure to check out the full source article. We have included a link in the show notes for you. Please subscribe to the SmartKeys podcast wherever you get your audio so you don't miss our next deep dive.